events square. Now we're going to start the video journal. So we'd like to call the journalist Valdir Lemos. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's a great pleasure to be here. I have the pleasure to present to you, starting now, a vision of what was this Congress MOVE 2012. We're going to talk about the present and the future of sports for all. We're going to hear the words of the leadership and of the academics and the athletes who are involved in this worldwide mobilization. These people who gave life to this international Congress even before it actually started. In rooms like this in Vila Mariana, MOVE 2012 started to fulfill one of its main objectives, to put together people who work with sports for all. Organizations like Street for All play the game, and hence took advantage to have meetings and exchange information of research and planning. Since we have about 48 organizations that work with their own methodology, over the next days we're going to try to do a summary of this, and based on this we're going to try to establish some minimum so we can evaluate these projects so that we can incorporate this as indicators, result indicators.
A street football world present em 60 países.
The football world is in 60 countries, focused on soccer. Now it's going to be focused in its 16 members for the World Cup.
Games in 2016 are a great opportunity, and obviously we all know that they are also a great challenge. So with our partners in Brazil, social development organizations from various regions and cities, we are preparing a kind of a social legacy of these mega events in order to utilize the power of sport, and especially the power of football, for social transformation and for the betterment of conditions of life, especially of young people.
And the journalist from Denmark who was at the meetings of Play the Game, he said the main goal for MOVE 2012.
Learn about the projects and the ideas for solutions that various organizations have in the world to improve the level of physical activity for people.
So how can we extend this among people? One of the most recommended ways to do this is to have the energy of young people. In the whole world, young volunteers are fundamental to help disseminate sports to new practitioners. So that's why they occupied, so they had some space here since the very beginning of the first day of the Congress. The Portuguese Carla, the Spanish, and Elizabeth. The young people have something in common: courage, leave home, leave their countries. They decided to pass through the volunteer program of ISCA. And from Denmark went all over the world carrying the flag of Sports for All.
Era necesario involucrarme primero como voluntaria para conocer más el deporte, sobre todo como, repito, como forma de herramienta, como motor de cambio.
I want to work with developing countries and use and bring sport as a way of bringing society together and using sport to structure some of the way that they function in their life.
É algo que eu gostaria de levar também para o meu próprio contexto.
But I would also take to my context good practices and also talk
com outras pessoas
to other
que
people
estejam no contexto do desporto
that
e fazê-los
work with
perceber
sports and
que há
make
esta
them
vertente
realize
do desporto para todos,
that
pode ser também
sports for
voluntário.
all can also be a volunteer.
Na Dinamarca, nós tínhamos
In
aulas
Denmark,
de
we had
NGO, que chamava Babusca,
classes
professor que vai estar
with
presente aqui
Babuska,
no
one of the
evento.
teachers that's going
E
to
aí,
be
por
here.
meio dessa aula
And
de
through
ideias
these
que nós
classes
tínhamos
with
na aula, eu
ideas,
escrevi projeto
he
lá,
wrote
que a
a
gente teve
project,
apresentações
and
na
we had
própria escola.
presentations at the
E quando eu
school.
retornei para o
And when I
Brasil,
came back to Brazil,
recém-formada,
I had just
desempregada,
graduated, I was
tive a ideia de ir
unemployed.
até a
I
ONG,
went
que é localizada em Mauá,
to
no
the
Jardim
ONG
Zaira,
that
né,
is
que é
in
a CCC
Mauá,
Estrela Azul. O projeto deu super
and
certo. Hoje
the
nós temos
project really worked.
243
Now we have
crianças que
243
praticam
children
gratuitamente
participating
3 modalidades esportivas, né?
with
Judô,
different,
futsal e ginástica geral.
they have soccer, judo, and gymnastics.
O meu voluntariado hoje é
My
para dizer
volunteer work
obrigada pela
today, I
oportunidade que eu
say
tive
thank you
alguns
so
anos
much
atrás,
for
na
the
verdade.
opportunity I had a few years ago.
Bom, vou citar algumas coisas aqui.
So I'd like to mention a few
Gratidão,
things here.
expectativa,
Gratitude,
curiosidade,
expectation, curiosity,
surpresa.
surprise.
Nos momentos que antecederam a
In
abertura
the
do
moments
Congresso MOVE
before the
2012,
opening the
tudo isso
Congress,
apareceu.
all of these
Veio
things
gente
came
do
about.
Brasil e de
We
vários
had people
países do
from
mundo.
Brazil and from all
Eles
over the world.
desembarcaram no
They
Sesc Vila Mariana
arrived here
para serem recebidos
at
pelas nossas
Sesc to be
cores
received
e também
by our
pelos nossos
colors
ritmos.
and by our rhythms.
De onde você veio? Vim de Itanhaém,
Where did you
Baixada
come from?
Santista, litoral de São
From
Paulo.
Santos, São Paulo. I came from São Paulo, Alagoas.
Sesc no Distrito Federal.
Sesc
Em
from
Piauí, South
Distrito
Africa.
Federal, South Africa.
Olhando ao redor assim, já
Looking
te
around
agrada alguma
you,
coisa?
O espaço.
what do you like? The space.
O espaço.
The
O
space.
espaço já agrada a
The
gente.
Como
the
diz o
space is
jogo,
very
muito
nice.
bem, muito inteligente.
This is
Ações
very
desse tipo geram
intelligent. These kind of
resultados. É isso que a
actions
gente espera.
generate results, and that's what we
Trabalhar para gerar
expect.
resultados
Work to
positivos aí
generate
em prol do
positive
esporte, em prol
results
da
for the
saúde da
sport
comunidade dos
and for the
brasileiros, enfim, é isso
community
que a
and
gente
health.
espera.
That's what we
Quero
expect.
levar as novidades que o Congresso
I would
vai
like
trazer
to
e
take
qual a proposta que o Sesc tem junto
the
com o
innovations
São
that
Paulo
we see here and the
promove.
proposal
Eu penso,
of
tenho
Sesc
certeza,
for
o jogo é
MOVE.
muito mais que
I
isso.
think it's a
Para
lot
você
more than just a
organizar uma
game.
equipe,
For you
você
to
tem que
organize a
organizar um
team,
grupo de esporte
you
coletivo,
have,
por exemplo,
for a
organizar
team
grupo de
sport, for
pessoas,
example,
né?
you have to
Treinar
organize,
minimamente,
you have to
né?
train
Comprar
some, you have to
nome
put
do time,
uniforms,
jogar.
have a name, you have to
Isso,
play,
o
and
lado,
this
esse momento todo
this
que nós vamos
time
vivenciar,
that we're going to
além
have
de
together
jogar,
now, not
isso
only
é
are
uma
we
coisa
going to
que
play
pode ficar.
together, this is
Então,
something that
isso
can
que eu acho que
remain.
é o tchan do negócio.
This is the big deal.
A isca
ISCA in Brazil is really growing closer to us, and we see this in a very clear way. For Brazil, there's a lot of events happening, a lot of promotion of sports for all and activities, and when it comes to ISCA, the ambition of wanting to leave Europe, look to the other continents of the world, so things are, the synergy is very good.
Unfortunately, some of the challenges for inactivity, physical inactivity, are global. So Brazil faces more or less same challenges that many countries all over the world, that the physical active population are decreasing. So we have to motivate, we have to be innovative, and we have to provide solutions and activities for a wider population.
What do you think about this? This sound is new for you?
Any sound of Brazilian move are new except samba. So I think this is just spreading the happiness on combining music and moving. And I think if some cultures or some people around the world can do that, it must be the Brazilians.
Bom, é isso. Reunidos os líderes, os
about it.
especialistas,
Getting
os
together the
palestrantes,
leaders
os
and the
inscritos do
speakers
Congresso,
and
era hora
those
de
who
começar
sign
a
up for
trabalhar.
the
A
Congress, it was time to
cerimônia de
work.
abertura do evento,
The
aqui
opening
no Teatro do
ceremony
Sesc
here
Vila
at the
Mariana, marcou
theater
também o lançamento
also
da campanha
marked
Move Brasil,
the
que quer pôr o
deployment
Brasil em
of the
movimento. Quem
campaign
veio
Move
dar as
Brasil to
boas-vindas aos
get Brazil
convidados
moving,
foi o anfitrião do encontro,
who
o
opened
diretor
the meeting
regional do Sesc
was
de São
the
Paulo.
regional director of Sesc São Paulo. Welcome to the Sesc Vila Mariana.
Quarta-feira, 24 de outubro,
Wednesday,
noite de abertura do
October
Congresso
24th,
MOVE
opening
2012.
night for the MOVE
O
Congress
diretor regional do
2012.
Sesc São
The
Paulo,
regional
professor
director for
Danilo
Sesc
Santos de
São Paulo,
Miranda,
Professor
celebrou a
Danilo
parceria
de
com a
Miranda,
Associação Internacional de Esporte e
remembered
Cultura,
the
a ISCA,
partnership that we have with
destacou a
ISCA
importância desse
and
encontro.
highlighted the importance of this Congress. So this is an extraordinary experience to receive so many people from many parts of the world and from all over Brazil to discuss and to debate the importance of physical activity and sports for all, of sport as a tool, indispensable tool for growth, development, and education. The president of ISCA proposed to those who were here to transform ideas into
I
actions.
would like to ask you to share with us your best experiences and best practice, and to take back to your hometown, your home municipality, your home club, these ideas and implement them to activities.
Na cerimônia, foi
At the
lançada
opening
a
ceremony,
campanha Move Brasil,
The
iniciativa
Move Brasil
conjunta do
campaign was
Sesc,
deployed
da
with the
ISCA,
initiative of
do
Sesc,
Ministério do
ISCA,
Esporte,
the Ministry of
Ministério da
Sports,
Saúde,
the Ministry of Health, ACM,
Autoridade
SESI,
Pública Olímpica
the
e a
public,
ONG
the Olympic
Atletas pela
Authority,
Cidadania,
and
representada
the
pela sua
ONG
presidente,
Athletes
Ana
for
E nós acreditamos
Citizenship,
que é
represented by Ana
preciso
Mozart. We
juntar os
believe
setores,
that it's
juntar
important
as
to get all the sectors
instituições,
together,
as
all the
pessoas,
institutions together,
para
people
fazer
together,
com que essa
to
década
make
olímpica
it
deixe
so
o
that
melhor
this
dos
Olympic
legados
Dedic
pro Brasil.
leaves a big legacy for
também
Brazil,
que sirva de
and also that
exemplo
this will be an
para outros
example
países do mundo.
to other countries in the world.
Bom, e logo depois dessa cerimônia,
Right
a
after
nossa
the
equipe esteve com o
ceremony,
professor
our
Danilo,
team
e ele
was
chamou
with
a
Professor
atenção
Danilo,
para um
and he
ponto muito
called
importante que eu queria
attention to a
agora
very important
compartilhar
point,
com todos
which
vocês.
I would like to share with you. Physical activity and sports are fundamental for the development of people, of society, and of the whole country. Brazil is a country that has a lot of sports activity, not always very well organized, and recently we are training ourselves to make the country more capable of developing these activities. The basis of all this needs to have an educational basis, and that means making this access more democratic and facilitate people's participation.
Bom, vou recordar com vocês agora que quem fechou a primeira noite do MOVE foi o cantor e compositor Toquinho. Além de mostrar músicas conhecidas, ele bateu um papo descontraído com personalidades
He also had a conversation with some personalities from sport, some sports personalities.
Como é que pode mudar um país o esporte? Pode mudar, pode acrescentar muito, né?
A country. How can sports change a country? Very few people can participate of a World Cup and an Olympics, but sports can add big values. So the structure is we work with two main axles, the social area, which we've been working on since 2004, and we have a focus. We use basketball to teach. How was the beginning of everything? When you train, practice every day, did you dream with everything that was happening with the medal, all those medals you got? Did you dream of arriving where you're at? Yes, I dreamt of it, but I didn't expect it to be so fast because I didn't know the special sports. I always enjoyed sports, and I came and I got to know sports after 2004 when I watched the Special Olympics in Athens. I was always somebody who was very happy, but when I started participating in sports, I realized that I can build my dream, it can become true, and the strength is within us. When we don't put limits to what we can do, we can go very far and conquer medals and be a champion. When I mean to be, to win, I mean to win in life.
Coral, sem dúvida, foi grande momento desse show
This
do
was
Toquinho.
E
o exemplo do
no
Daniel
doubt
Dias
one of the
mostra
highlights
bem
of the
o que
show.
quer e o que pode
And
corpo
this
que
shows
se
well
move.
what
Os
a
limites
body
do
that moves
preconceito
can
podem
do.
ser superados,
Any
uma vida ativa
prejudice
pode abrir
can
novas
be overcome.
felicidades.
They can
São
open
valores
new doors.
filosóficos do
These are
esporte para
values
todos que os
of the
participantes
sports
do
for
Congresso
all of the
também
participants
vieram
of the
conhecer.
Congress that were able to know.
O MOVE 2012 retomou os
MOVE
trabalhos na manhã de
2002
quinta-feira com uma palestra.
started on Thursday
Em
with
foco,
a presentation.
uma
The
questão
focus was
crucial. O
a
futuro do
crucial
esporte para todos.
thing, the
Na mesa,
future of
o
sports for all.
filósofo Renato Janine
Talking
Ribeiro.
was Janine Ribeiro, philosopher.
O corpo, ele é o que ele é.
The body is what it is because it moves.
Não é simplesmente
It's not just
retrato. Corpo morto,
something.
corpo sem movimento.
Dead
Então,
body
corpo
is a
vivo,
body without
toda a
movement.
vida
So
é
a
movimento. Tem
live
tudo a ver
body, what gives
com
it
esse
life?
encontro
That's why it has
do
everything
MOVE,
to
quer
do
dizer,
with the
que é
MOVE
encontro do
meeting.
MOVE e do MOVE, né? Quer
It's
dizer, você fazer
it's
mover
move
as
and move.
pessoas, porque esse movimento que
Because
dá
this
vida, é isso que
movement is
valoriza o
what gives
corpo
you
do
life, and
movimento.
that's
É um
what
corpo
gives
que
value
procura
to
ser
the
uma
body.
fonte de
So the
satisfação,
body needs
de
to be
felicidade, bem-estar
something of
para a
satisfaction,
pessoa.
well-being to the person,
Produzindo,
and
seres
to
humanos
produce.
serão possivelmente mais felizes.
And doing
Acho que
this,
é
human
isso,
beings will be happier.
essa ideia
So I
de
think
corpo
that
que a
is
gente
the
tá
idea
lidando.
of body that we're talking about.
Bom, eu diria o seguinte, esse corpo mais
Well,
feliz que tem
if
acesso à
a
atividade
happier
física,
body
o
that has
esporte
access to
representa
physical
para o professor
activity
Janine
and
Ribeiro
sport, it
uma base para a
represents
democracia,
a
a
basis for
ética e
democracy,
também a inclusão.
ethics, and
Exemplos
also
disso não faltam, vários
inclusion.
deles foram mostrados no segundo dia do
We
Congresso
showed many
aqui.
videos
Em pauta,
in
mudanças
the
sociais
Congress
que um esporte mais
of the
democrático pode
changes
trazer.
of a
E
more
mais,
democratic sports
projetos
can
que
bring,
resultam em
and
melhorias
projects that
para a
result
educação e para a
in
cidadania.
improvement for education and citizenship.
Glorious, we support projects all over the world that use sport as a tool with young people, and many of them are having an incredible impact. One of the ones we support is a project called Lucha pela Paz, which works in the Favela Maré and Rio de Janeiro, and it's using boxing and martial arts as a tool to get people to leave gangs. And basically for 10 years they have developed a methodology which is all about getting people to leave the gangs, leave the violence behind and take the violence from the street into the ring and into a situation where it can be channeled in a positive way. And they've seen very, very big impact in terms of young people who are being diverted away from gangs and coming into the project.
A gente tenta articular algo que de
We
atender,
have
de oferecer uma prática esportiva para crianças e adolescentes,
offer sports for children and teens,
junto com a produção de conhecimentos,
together with
que possam ser
knowledge and knowledge that can be
inspirar outras
it can
práticas,
inspire
incrementar
other
aquilo que já existe
practices
em outros
and
campos do terceiro setor,
complement
na
what already
iniciativa
exists in the
privada,
third
buscar articular esse
sectors
papel
and
de
try
fazer,
to
mas também
have
de
this role of
refletir,
doing
repensar e
and
voltar isso para um fazer
reflecting
mais
and also
qualificado. Para que eles sejam
qualifying people,
apreciadores e críticos dessa
that they
cultura
will
esportiva e
be
produtores dessa cultura
so that they will
esportiva
be
também,
producers
mas
and
que isso
critics
esteja
of
bem
this
arraigado
sports
no
culture,
dia a
but that
dia,
this
que
is
eles
really
não se
ingrained
imaginem
in their day-to-day,
sem prática
that they
esportiva,
can't
sem
imagine
esporte,
life
sem
without
movimento.
practicing sports and without moving.
O programa ele se
The
sustenta
program
em três
is
pilares,
supported
que é
by
o
three pillars,
desenvolvimento da
which
ação
is
esportiva em si,
development of the sport action,
desenvolvimento dos
the
temas
development
transversais
of the
e o
transversal themes,
acompanhamento com a família.
and
Então, se esse
family,
jovem
working with the family. So
está
this
lá
young person,
15, 16,
he's
17
been,
anos, tiver
has
atributos,
15 or
ele
16
poderá
years old,
ir
and he's
para as
got
equipes
talent.
de
He can
rendimento
go
esportivo do SESI.
to
Se ele não
the
tiver
sexy
esses atributos,
teams.
mas
If he
gosta
doesn't
do
have
esporte,
this,
tem
but he
prazer
enjoys
pelo
sports,
esporte, ele
and
pode procurar o outro programa
he can look
de
for another
desenvolvimento de
program
identidade chamado Viva
for
Esporte, onde
development
ele vai
called Viva
continuar fazendo
Esporte,
esse
where he'll
esporte, mas
continue
por
to practice
prazer,
sports,
para
but
trabalhar
for
o seu estilo
pleasure,
de vida saudável,
to have
e aí esse é um dos
pleasurable
grandes objetivos
way
da
of life,
entidade
and
em si,
that's
o
one
SESI
of the
São
big
Paulo.
objectives of SESI São Paulo. The deployment of MOVE Brasil yesterday is a kick-start for 4 years of a lot of work, a lot of effort, of involvement of SESC as a whole in this mission and this challenge of bringing partners to add organization and people to the cause of sports for all, the physical activities and sports as a right and as a citizenship and inclusion and quality of life.
Os projetos, as
the
ideias,
projects,
as propostas
ideas,
de esportes
and
para todos
proposals of
ocuparam o
sports
teatro
for
e o
all
auditório do
occupy
Sesc
the
Vila Mariana, mas não
auditorium
foram
and
só
the
nesses
theater,
lugares.
but
Profissionais
it was not just
pesquisadores
here.
também
Professionals and
mostraram
researchers
trabalhos na
also
praça
showed
de
their
eventos
work
em
at the
4
event
sessões de
square
posters,
in 4
como
sections
conta
of
agora
posters,
o nosso repórter
as our
André
reporter André shows us. one of the main tools to disseminate the concept of sports for all is information. The MOVE 2012 had 4 sections with posters, such as this one. In each one, we had the results of academic studies and actions of different organizations from Brazil and all over the world. Organizations such from Artu, which is from Campinas. What did you bring? Here, the work talks a little bit about the group from Unicamp for mountain climbing. We've been around for over 20 years. It's a democratic and volunteer initiative where we will offer mountain climbing to those who want to try it. We have some interesting numbers. Not only do we have 20 years of history, we have 250 people per quarter. This is new people practicing mountain climbing, something that is unequal. Another example is this academic study which was done by a Brazilian in Denmark. Cristiane, what is this? Well, this poster, this study that we made is a collaboration of the International Academy of Physical Education and Unicamp, where we tried to study a bit how Sports for All is organized in Brazil, but especially focused in gymnastics for all, because we believe it's one of the possibilities to manifest body culture that exists here. It's well structured, and that could help spread sports for all here in Brazil. The public is also here. The state is also here. This project from the Represa Guarapiranga. What's the importance of the government and the work in an event like this? Well, it's very important. We took advantage of MOVE 2012 to bring the activities that we do in Alvarenga that we're at a risk with high social risk of low income, and in this sense we are promoting physical activities and sports activities, cultural, educational, thinking of the internal demand, which is the school, and the population that is around, which is very important too. Thank you very much. For those who'd like to access the content of this sport, you can look for them in MOVE 2002 site.
Bom, quero salientar agora outros
I'd
dois
just
temas
like
que
to
estiveram no
highlight
foco do
two other
Congresso. Como
topics that
promover
were a
as
focus here:
práticas
how to
físicas
promote
e como
physical
incluir
practices and how
minorias
to
e públicos
include
especiais.
minority and
Afinal de
special
contas, quando a
groups.
gente diz todos,
After all, when we
quer
talk
dizer
about
todos
everyone and all, we mean everyone.
The mission of Special Olympics is to run a year-round sports training and competition program, helping intellectually disabled people to improve physically, mentally, as well as socially. Our vision is to help them in the integration process to be productive, to be contributing, and to be useful citizens who are accepted as an equal by the society as large.
Trabajar con discapacitados es complejo, a veces se hace hasta como una rutina, hay mucha frustración y creo que bueno, tratar de
good
utilizar
in
esas
dealing
experiencias para
with these
trasladarle información
experiences,
también
taking
va a ser
information,
un motivo de
and will also be
motivación
motivation
para saber que
for
alrededor del
people,
mundo
and
también hay
know
mucha
that
gente que se está
around the world
moviendo.
there are a lot of people
Es
who are
complejo
moving
como en
themselves.
todo lado,
It's
pero bueno, hay mucha
complex,
gente
but a lot of
que tiene
people
ganas de ayudar
with
y lo único que hay que
the
proponerles
will
son
to
cosas
help
serias
can
y
realize
seriedad y
that these
trabajo,
are
mucho trabajo.
this is a lot of work and a very serious matter.
I think to me inclusion is all about opportunity and choice. So it's about providing people with the right kinds of opportunity and choice that suits them. It's not about what's right or wrong or what suits anybody else. It's about what individual choice is.
Através do resultado positivo, a gente achou que poderia massificar.
Through positive results, we thought that we would be able to massify sports for people with disabilities, and this is a great legacy for society. I think we were able to achieve this goal. As we won medals in these games, we can ask for improvement for these legacies, like such as information, education, and health, or every single right that a citizen is entitled to.
in particolare io mi occupo di sport rivolto a popolazione migrante, rifugiati politici, richiedenti asilo. In Italia purtroppo le leggi che abbiamo sulla migrazione sono molto ristrette e soprattutto non abbiamo lo ius solis, e quindi chi nasce in Italia da genitori stranieri non è italiano, e questo provoca molti problemi chiaramente nella vita quotidiana. In un mondo in cui purtroppo i fenomeni di razzismo e di discriminazione sono molto forti, invece lo sport può aiutare sia i migranti a trovare degli spazi di inclusione sociale, quindi a condividere dei momenti di gruppo, sia in questo caso parlo degli italiani, a comprendere che il diverso non fa poi così paura, e quindi crediamo veramente che lo sport sia un mezzo per parlare tutte le lingue e a tutti.
Congratulations to all of you who helped us. This is MOVE2012, ladies and gentlemen. Share your realities, your expectations. But before we close, I'd like to invite an essential person, President of ISCA, Morgans Kirkeby. Please, Mr. Morgans. I would ask you to excuse me because I don't speak English. Mr. Moyes, I would like to hear what you have to say, or understand your view about MOVE, and what are your visions or views about this edition of this Congress.
I like very much the word vision, because it gives you the freedom to aim high and also with a longer perspective. It does not mean that it's not concrete, because I think a vision should be aiming high but realistic. One of the, you can say, more concrete visions that I would like to announce is that it's my hope that a number of sectors beside the sports sector would feel a commitment and will join us from the sports sector in combating one of the biggest challenges we have seen in the last half century, physical inactivity. It's not to give away the responsibility, but it's a recognition that we cannot do this alone. And I think what we have seen here are good attempts from different sectors, inspired by very local projects to bigger campaigns, but good attempts that this challenge of combating inactivity to create more physically active populations is something that is climbing the agenda also in sectors outside sport.
Well, we follow a script here. That's what I've been doing. But I would like to say that I'm very happy to be here in this event with you, and I'm fully aware of the importance of what you're doing. I would also like to hear from you, knowing the importance of ISCA, what is your view? How does a Congress such as this, how can it help and strengthen these efforts around the world?
In fact, that's a question for me, but it's more relevant a question for the participants. I can speak for myself, and from such a conference here, I take huge motivation. Motivation because I see dedicated people, professional and volunteers, that are having similar aims, similar goals that I have. It's very motivating to see so much power at one place. Besides this more general, being motivated, I also take very concrete signals. And some of the signals are quite strong. One signal I would like to take from here, and I'm sure that we in ISCA will need to deal with, try to convince our members and partners that this is an important topic in the future. That is a signal or a topic that is dealt with several times during the last 2 days. And it's about us in the sports sector being better in monitoring and presenting evidence. I think we would rather be without. We would rather that the money came without, but I feel this is a strong need. So we have to find our way. How can we do this in a way that fits our capacity, but also satisfy those who are contributing financially?
About the future, what will be our next steps, or what should be our next steps?
We have a conference once a year, a MOVE conference, but it does not mean that we go back and sleep for 360 days and wake up in 1 year's time. I see the conference like this hopefully as a motivating stepping stone, and in between is the real work. I hope that many have met people, got brief inspiration that they can follow up by contacting and being in dialogue with these new friends. I hope that we can deliver a new stepping stone in 2013 and onwards. And I think it's important before we leave this MOVE Congress 2012. I think it's important to thank the host, but also very much those more or less invisible volunteers that has made the show go around. So I would like from my side to say thank you to the volunteers, thank you to the host, and we have a plan for next year. We have a plan that we will move. One of the philosophers said, if you are not moving, you are dead, and we are not planning to die. So we have a plan to move to another continent, to another city. And I would like, if it's possible, to invite a representative from that city. So I would like to invite Tony Loeb from Barcelona to join us here at the stage. Tony is a member of the ISCA Executive Committee. He is also a very tall guy. He is a bright guy. He is a good friend. But none of these criteria has led to what is coming now. The criteria for us when we choose a host is that we believe that the host organization can deliver a stepping stone, a MOVE Congress where you and others can join and get new inspiration for the coming year's work. So I would like to invite Tony to do his best to follow up on this one. It will be a tough one, but you cannot do it in a Brazilian way, but I'm sure you can do it in a Barcelona way. Tony, please.
Thank you. Well, first of all, in Portuguese, vou parabenizar SESC, seus parceiros.
I'd like to congratulate SESC and their partners, their staff, for the success of this Congress.
So, no moments. On behalf of UBAE and Eurofitness, hosting entity, we would like to thank to ISCA for this challenge to host such important event. And as you know, Barcelona is an Olympic city. And I think as a Barcelona citizens, Barcelona had played a good role in the way that legacy was created after Olympics. So during these days, I have heard some ideas about legacy of these big events that are going to take place in Brazil. So Barcelona was able to create a good sport network. So when we asked for the support of the municipality of Barcelona, they really agreed, because they would like to innovate in sports. Olympics happened 20 years ago, and so now this chance to create networks, to look for partnerships, to host such time of civil society moving, and it was a great chance for us to introduce to the municipality this idea and this challenge to host all of you and your friends and your colleagues in the city. And I think we got a great support from them, and they really believe in this innovating process. We have a child which is called MOVE, and so we have to make it grow up. So I think it's important to create a branding from this MOVE Congress. And from our side, we will try to do our best. In our way, it's a little bit far from Brazilian way, but anyway, it has been very, very nice for me to be here and to enjoy this Brazilian way. So we have prepared a small video where you can watch what's happening in Barcelona, how sports playing its own role in the city, how citizens are involved through sport in social life, how sport network clubs, entities are involved in this sport life. So you are invited to watch this video.
Depois que venha Barcelona. Muito obrigado,
Thank you very much, Tony Lopp and Morgans. I would like to say once again that it's been a pleasure to be here. We have a meeting in Barcelona next year, and I hope that we can reap the fruits that we have, the seeds that we have sown here. Good evening, everyone, and thank you on behalf of CESC.